appNovi addresses the unmanageable effort to find, manually aggregate, and review data from your network and security tool data lakes. Without effective contextual correlation across datasets and data lakes, the trustworthiness of data is low, security teams' efficacy is highly impeded, prioritization isn't specific to the business, and the resolution of security incidents is often partial or unable to complete due to uncertainty. appNovi integrates with Cortex XSOAR to provide out-of-the-box capabilities to provide contextually enriched asset information to make informed security decisions while automating certain actions to reduce the mean time to resolution. First, let's understand appNovi. appNovi is a cybersecurity mesh architecture platform that enables efficient security data consumption and sharing of information across stakeholders to come to informed and non-disruptive security decisions. There are no proprietary query languages. We can simply search for things of interest. Let's consider an example of an alert on an IP. An IP itself isn't helpful unless we know the host associated with it. As I expand the relationships of the IP, I can see there are network communications to other IPs and the host Web 50. I can see there's a security event associated with a Web 50 from Fortinet. To gain more context, I can continue to expand relationships of assets. Now I can see who's logging into this asset, connections to other hosts, CVEs associated with the asset coming from my scanner, and ownership of the asset. I can also see the MAC address, and I can see the next level of network connections. I can continue to expand and organize this data. What we see here is a full topology of the attack beyond network connections and is based off of data from my SIEM and individual tools like EDR, firewalls and routers, CMDBs, and IaaS, as well as the organizational hierarchy of the organization. This simple representation would take analysts hours to understand and remain complicated to explain and communicate with non-technical stakeholders. Getting data into appNovi is simple. NetFlow is easily configured, and other data sources are enabled through out-of-the-box integrations while also remaining customizable. Now let's check out the Cortex XSOAR integration. This is an example of an out-of-the-box playbook, which could be used automatically to retrieve the MAC address of a server. This means that information is automatically embedded within a Cortex XSOAR ticket to eliminate the manual data querying by an analyst. This can of course be customized, or playbooks can be created and used to gain all the asset information from appNovi to make a streamlined security decision. Let's take a look at a few examples. If we go to commands, we can see a few options. We can run simple searches without any proprietary query language to understand assets, CVEs, and connections. Pairing the visualization capabilities of appNovi with Cortex XDR, risk and attacks are more effectively communicated. The result for enterprise security teams are attack surface identification and mapping, vulnerability prioritization, and efficient non-disruptive incident response. Let's consider an example of getting an alert on an IP address. An IP address by itself isn't that helpful to understand what an asset is, but we can query appNovi to show us all the unified data about it. I can then look up more information about this server stored in appNovi and understand its connections. If, as in this case, there's a CVE connected to it, I could look up other assets on my network with the same CVE. This would be helpful to expedite a ransomware attack investigation, for example. To use appNovi with Cortex XSOAR today to reduce your mean time to resolution and enable more effective communication of threats and attacks across the business, search the Cortex XSOAR marketplace for appNovi.